Well, hello everyone. Welcome to P.B.M. vending. Today I want to talk about funding your emergency fund. I can remember not too long ago when I listened to Dave Ramsey and he was talking about having an emergency fund, and I was like, I'm so broke that I can't make my bills. How am I supposed to save money in an emergency fund? Today, I have, in the last several years, I've learned a lot, done a lot, and today I'm going to share with you 10 different ways that you can fund an emergency fund even if you don't make a lot of money. Now, the first way that I learned to do it was cash back credit cards. And the one that I used was Discover. Now, was it a lot of money? Over time, but it would take me a year or a year and a half, and I didn't take it out when it was at 100. I waited. I opened a mutual fund, and you could only make deposits into that in $500 increments. So I used my Discover card till I got to $500, and then I took the money out and I put it into the mutual fund. And it would take me a year, year and a half, but after 3 or 4 years, I had $1,000 or $2,000 in there. Another way. Now, in order to do this one, you almost have to be very, very particular on your shopping, whether it's online or in the grocery store or at Walmart, wherever you go. Whenever you use a coupon, you pretend like you paid full price. Like I buy the candy machines. If I get a 10% discount on a $100 machine, I take $10 and put it in the savings account. I mean, I saved the money, but I put the money in my account. You see what I mean? So we exchange coupons for cash, put the cash in a savings account, so you're still paying the same amount of money, but now you're adding to your savings account. Now this next one is a good one because people that don't make a lot of money, they usually get a decent amount back on their income taxes. So when you get your income tax back, you take that money, put it right into your emergency fund. And it won't take too long till you've got a month worth of income saved up in your account. So that was a gimme. Now, and this one I learned when I opened that account from the little house over from the ministry. I make an automatic transfer where I set it up with the bank or the credit union, and they take X amount of dollars, even if it's only $10 a month. You just have them automatically take it from your checking account and put it into your emergency fund. $10 a month, you're never going to miss. If you do it yourself, you'll feel like, what's 10 bucks? But if the bank does it and you don't miss it, look at it this way. In a year, you got 120 bucks. On top of the $500 from your cash back, that's $620. On top of the coupons, you're looking at $700 your first year. Every little bit helps. Now this one I learned because of our ministry. Once you get a certain amount of money, let's say after your first year you've got $700 in your account. Then you go to your bank and you get a $700 note. Okay? Then they'll give you $700. That's going to cost you around $55 a month. You take that $700 and you put it into your emergency fund, and for 1 year you write a check every month for $55, and at the end of the year it's paid off and you got the $700 in your account. So after 1 year, you've now got $1,450 in your account. Every little bit helps. And every year on your personal loan, the more money you get, assuming you can make the monthly payments, you get a personal loan and put it in there. That way, the money's there if you need it, and you're making a monthly payment, so that instead of worrying about having to come up with $1,000 for a car repair, you've now got the $1,000 to pay it, but it's a level payment plan. It's not like now you got to come up with $1,000. So building your emergency fund is an ongoing, all the time kind of thing. Whether you put it into an emergency fund or you put it into a mutual fund, but finding the different ways to save the money is what's important. Another one is a payroll deduction, and this you can use this. It depends on your company, but some companies will automatically withdraw money from your pay and put it into your account. Now, most of the times companies only want to do this with Roth or IRA accounts. That's still savings. 401ks, that is still savings. So payroll deduction, and that's a universal one. Now another one, and this one we just started doing with our ministry. And if you have, let's see, how much did $500. I took $500 and I did some research and I bought dividend stocks. And stocks pay dividends at different times. The one that I bought has a history of paying every month for years, and it's about 17 or 18% a year. When the average savings account is paying less than 1%, the average mutual fund is paying 6 or 7%, and you got a stock that's paying you dividends cash back at 17%. So you put $500 in, and I think we're going to get $15 a month. So for $500 in, and you've got the stock. So even if they stop the dividend, you've still got the stock. But in 1 year, for putting $500 in, you're going to have $160 to add to your emergency fund. You just take that money when they write the dividend and you put it into your emergency fund. Doesn't take you any work, doesn't take you anything else to do except buy the stock and put the money into your account. Now another way to build up your emergency fund is a side hustle. You know, outside of your job. Like, I knew a guy that detailed cars, and it's not an easy job, but for a couple hours work you can make $120 for a couple hours work if you're willing to do the work. The ministry side hustle is the candy machines, and they don't make much, but whatever they make goes into the ministry. And you could go buy one machine, let's say to get us started, you buy one machine plus candy, and you find a spot, say you got $150 tied up. The nationwide average on a bulk candy machine is around $30 a month. $30 a month. So at the end of the year, you've got $360 that you can put into your emergency fund from one machine. Another way would be gifts. If you get Christmas gifts, birthday gifts, anniversary gifts, whatever kind of gifts that you get, just ask for cash. Take that cash and put it into your account. Now, you don't have to do that all the time, but what if you did it for a year? That'd probably be a couple $100. Christmas and your birthday, and a couple $100 maybe. And the last one is, I want you to think about $10 a week. Now $10 is about what I spend when I go out to eat lunch once a week. $10, and I go to a little taco joint. Okay? If you gave up that one dinner a week, and you took that $10 and put it into your savings account each week. At the end of the year, you'd have $520 in your savings account. Now, I haven't gone through and done all the math, but if you did a combination of all of these, you could have a couple $1,000s in your savings account at the end of the first year, and you're not making a lot of money. But because of all the little ways and the little bits and pieces that you manage to hobble together throughout the year, you can build your emergency fund up pretty quick. Now, in order to make your finances go a little smoother, and I just want to say this because I've been there, done that. When you're broke and something happens, it's now a catastrophe. It's a major issue. If you go out in the morning and your car has a flat tire, it now becomes a major issue. Okay? Because you're either going to have to be late for work and change the tire, or call somebody, and now we got a pickup and a delivery and a tire and a fix and it becomes a major issue. If you have an emergency fund, you just pick up the phone and say, hey, come get my car, fix my tire. You write the check, you take the money out of the savings account. It makes life much easier. Now, is it easy to get there? No. Is it possible to get there when you're broke? Yes. It is, and once you get that emergency fund set up, you just keep funding it over time. And then once it gets to a certain point, then you can take some of that savings and put it into investments. Okay? And as your investments grow, when you have an emergency, you take the money out and then you put some more money back in. It makes life a lot easier, and now everything is not a major issue every time you have a problem. The whole purpose of an emergency fund is to make life easier, to make life smoother, and to not screw with your finances. Nothing is worse than to work so hard to get your credit rating up, your credit card balances down. This is what I did before I was able to get any money saved. Whenever I had a problem with my car, I'd have to put it on my credit card, and then I'd have to just pay it off. Well, it was killing my credit. I put it all on one card, but I was making monthly payments on that card every month for years, and my credit rating wasn't getting any better. Once I started getting it paid down, my credit rating went up. But nothing is more frustrating than to work so hard for several years and then have everything go straight down because you have a problem with your car or your washer and dryer or whatever the issue is that's going to make your life hard. An emergency fund's purpose is not just to have money sitting in a bank. It's to help make life less difficult. And with these 10 ideas that I gave you on how to build your emergency fund, you can do it in the first year and have a couple $1,000s in your savings account without trying too hard. So build your emergency fund, do it quickly, and you can do it not easily, but you can do it quickly if you concentrate on it. And it'll only take you a year to get a couple of $1,000s. A couple $1,000s available to you can mean a lot of difference. Think about all the emergencies that have happened to you in the last 5 years. How many times would a couple $1,000s have solved your problem? And that's where we're looking at for the emergency fund. Well, I hope this helps you. I hope you do some of them. I hope you do all of them. And I hope you get your emergency fund built up and make your life a little bit easier. You guys have a great week and happy vending!